Hello and back for more couch conchology. Today I will introduce more shells that came into the collection. Remember, once again, that I'm landlocked in Kansas and this is pre-internet. Somewhere in the early 1980s time frame, my husband knew a fellow ham radio operator, W0KL, and his wife was wanting to sell the remainder of her father's shell collection. Most of the collection was land shells. There were some marine shells in with that also. And so we went over to their house and looked at the shells, and she said $20. And I was okay with that. Some really decent shells in that group, and a lot of them did have their original labels with them as well, which was very helpful. Overall, I was very happy to get the shells. She was very happy that they were going to a good home. And so what we'll do now is we'll just have a little bit of a closer look at these shells and see just exactly what is in this collection. These shells are from the collection of Arthur Carlton Powers. He was a member of the American Malacological Union. He lived in Colorado Springs, Colorado. He was born in 1886 and he passed away in 1968. And this is a good selection of the shells that his daughter had sold. The representation here is really pretty good. There was a decent amount of land snails that I was really glad to get, especially the ligulus here and some of the Cerion shells. There's also a good selection of marine shells as well. This ligulus here in particular came from Brickell Hammock in Florida, which from what I understand is within the city limits of Miami, Florida right now. So some of these others, I'm not positive exactly where they are located nowadays, like Austin Hammock. I don't know exactly where that is now. Palma Vista #1. I don't know exactly where that is either. But nice shells to have. Some of the Cerion and this little Emoda came from Cuba, which it's kind of a little bit difficult to get shells from Cuba. But these are a nice representation of some land shells from Cuba. One from the Bahamas, and this one's from California. So there's also some limpets and a few other things. This Norrissia norrisii came from California, and it's a really nice example of the species. It even has the operculum in it. Very pretty shell. And a few other things. This Turbo castaneus has the operculum with it too. Nice limpets, a very nice Crepidula onyx here. And moving on down, there's a Voluta musica from Barbados. Some really nice shells. I was very glad to get these. A few that didn't have the names on them, but overall they did. Old labels, like I'd mentioned in a previous video, save those old labels because they do have some value to them. I was glad I did not throw these away. Nice bivalves here. There's a Cardium isocardia, or Trachycardium isocardia. Very nice shell there. Nice big Docinia. Some of this stuff's from Florida, some from California. Really pretty shells, really nice ones to have. And the dates on them is what's really interesting too. What she told me was 1920s to 1930s. Most of these do not have the dates on them, but I think there is one that does. I thought I saw one when I was getting these out that said 1932. So that's really pretty cool to have something that's been kept around that long. And what I'll do next is I'll show you some other shells that I acquired later on in that same time frame, and we'll go from there and move forward with more shells.